For this project, you're going to need 2 squares at 10 inches for your lining. And you're going to need 2 squares at 10 inches for your outer fabric. Fabric doesn't need to be exactly the same, but it helps for them to coordinate. Your batting should be 10 inches by 9.5 inches. Put your outside fabric right sides together and then lay your batting on the wrong side, leaving a 1/2 inch space at the top. Turn it over and put your other piece of batting on the wrong side of your outer fabric, again leaving a 1/2 inch space at the top. We're now going to stitch the outside seam and the bottom seam, and you're going to do this on the lining as well. Leaving the top open, we're going to stitch the sides and the bottom. Now measure a 2.5 inch square out of the bottom corner of your lining and cut that away. You're going to do this on both sides of the lining at the bottom, cutting that 2.5 inch square out, and you're also going to do this on your outer fabric, the piece with the batting. You're going to cut 2.5 inches squares out of those bottom corners. This is going to create your shape, so we're going to now close that corner by opening up our fabric that we've now cut that corner out and aligning the side seam with the bottom seam. Make them nest, so make the seams go in opposite directions. Now we're going to stitch that bottom edges closed, doing this on both the lining and your outside fabric. Now we're going to fold over the seam at the top. This is why we've left a 1/2 inch space with the batting so that the bulk isn't quite as much. So we're folding that seam over and we're pinning it. We're not going to be stitching it just yet. We're going to do this fold over at a 1/2 inch seam for the lining as well. We're attaching the lining to the outer side of this little square bucket with the bottom seam, the corner seam that we stitched. We're now going to attach the lining to the main bucket using that little seam there. And in that way it's attached, so it won't be folding out and coming out and doing all kinds of funny things. Now you can turn over your lining and create your bucket. This is your first really vision of seeing what your bucket is going to look like. Now that you've got it turned over nicely, line up your side seams and pin them together, still keeping that top seam in place. We're going to do this on both sides, so align your side seams and then you can pin the edges together along as you go. Final step is going to be to give this all a top stitch with your sewing machine. And just like that, you've got a neat fabric bucket. Push out your corners nicely and then fold over the top edge. This is reversible. Enjoy.